We all know that the medical care system inside the United States is broken, that the insurance companies, the hospitals, it's not a system that works anymore. But you don't know how bad it is. I'm going to give you some statistics, some facts, some figures that will really kind of open your eyes to how bad things really are and how much danger the United States is in from its hospitals, its healthcare insurance companies, and all of this put together. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade. And these are the things that the mainstream media just won't talk about. How bad things are, how rich they're getting off of the most needy and desperate in our society. And no, that's not the people coming from other places. That's people who have medical crises. They are being attacked and fleeced and robbed. And many of you have already experienced this. The simple fact is that most Americans are one accident or one bad illness away from bankruptcy. It's not unusual for a hospital stay of one day racking you up $10,000, $20,000, even $30,000 for a one-day stay. And it's been said that 78% of U.S. adults have reported that they have at some point avoided a hospital visit due to how expensive it would be. Just think about that. 78% of Americans were like, I need to go to the hospital, but I won't because I can't afford it. And yet we have so many people in the United States going to the hospitals who aren't paying. And the people who do go and pay, people who do have insurance, who are being responsible, are being, put over a barrel. And we are taking the beating. We're talking about giant healthcare corporations. We're talking about healthcare insurance. We're talking about lawyers, big pharma, executives, and even some doctors. They're all getting so rich off the situation. They don't want things to change. But you and I desperately need them too. And when you get health, if you've been responsible and you're like, I have health insurance for myself, my family, we're going to be okay. We're going to be covered in case there's an issue. It's expensive. The average family pays $25,572 for health insurance per year to cover their family. $25,572 on average for healthcare coverage. And then when they have a healthcare crisis, these healthcare companies start employing their delay, deny, defend tactics. Is it any wonder there is a significant amount of outrage, fury, and despair in the United States when it comes to the healthcare industry? The doctors and the nurses, by and large, at the hospital level, are wonderful, caring people. But the systems that they are a part of, with the administrators, the policies, and the billing, are so out of control that the system is completely broken. Okay, here's some facts for you. 100 million Americans currently have some form of medical debt. That's almost a third of Americans. You drive down the street and you pass 3 cars, one of them has medical debt. That's a lot. And not only is it a lot of people have it, but $220 billion in medical debt. That's over $1,000 per person on average. Almost $1,000 per person on average. We have just accumulated this massive debt ball, and it's leading to a lot of bankruptcies. A lot of people are forced into bankruptcy because they just can't pay their medical bills. And this is part of the reason why the costs are so high for the people who pay, is because other people go bankrupt. They don't get billed because they're of a special protected class, like people coming from other places. The government is being billed for them, but then the government gets such a low rate that the that the hospitals and such have to make it up by overcharging you and I. 100 million Americans have medical debt, but 62% of all bankruptcies inside the United States, not gambling, 62% of bankruptcies are because of medical expenses. That's what breaks most of the bankruptcies. So you could almost say 2 out of 3 bankruptcies inside the United States are due to unexpected medical care, costs. When you put it like that, that's a really big deal. If you were to stay in a hospital for 3 days, and this is last year's number, it's higher this year. The average hospital stay for 3 days, take a quick guess down below. How much? Give you a second. Hit pause if you need another second. $30,000, friends. $30,000 for an average 3-day hospital stay. That's the average. If you have issues, if you need more care, it goes up from there significantly and very quickly. I already shared 78% of American adults have avoided hospital stays because it's too expensive or going to the hospital. So you may say, well, the costs at the hospital are so expensive. The hospitals are just barely struggling to get by. It's just what it costs in America. Hospital profits have risen 400%. They're 4 times higher than they were in 1999. So if you own a hospital in 1999 and you made $100 million in profit, or $10 million, let's say $10 million in profit for the hospital, today that hospital's making $40 million per year. So hospital profits have gone up 4 times in just the last 25 years. But costs to consumers and you and I and patients have gone through the roof. How much does it cost to ride in an ambulance these days? Can you even afford it? Can you afford to not die on the way to the hospital? That's an impossible choice. An impossible choice. Ambulances are insanely expensive, and much of that is due to lawsuits. A lot of people don't, we talk about that and we see the EMTs and they're not making any money at all. If we were talking about the equipment and the EMTs and the fuel, the price of an ambulance would be like 1/10 or even less of the price that you get charged or billed. If you try getting billed outside of an insurance plan, you face ridiculous charges, like absolutely insane charges. There's a woman who had a baby that needed to stay in a prenatal care unit for 30 days. She got handed a bill for $700,000. She was a single mother. Like, what do you even do with that? $700,000. Like, I remember back to where it was like, if I make $1 million over the course of my life, I will have arrived, But 30 days, one illness for her child basically wiped out what used to be considered a lifetime's savings. If you have $700,000 in the bank for retirement, you are like super wealthy, super set, right? And yet 30 days for their baby in a care unit, $700,000 bill. And that's not weird. That's not like a crazy number. That's not like an unusual number. It just is a number. Hospitals overcharge based, here's their cost, as much as 18 times as much as it costs them to do things. Yeah, insurance companies negotiate those rates down sometimes, but even people with insurance, it's 18% of Americans had an insurance claim denied, a healthcare insurance claim denied just last year. 18% of Americans. The vast majority of Americans have health insurance of some sort or another. And yet somehow they're still going into massive bankruptcies. They're having major medical bills denied by insurance companies. Hospital profits up 400%. But not only that, but since Obamacare came in, okay, which was supposed to rein in the insurance companies. Let's see how the insurance companies are doing. Just since the implementation of Obamacare, their profits of the top 5 insurance companies have gone up 230% in less than 15 years. Their profits have gone up 230% in less than 15 years. This plan that was supposed to rein in those greedy insurance companies has done anything but. It has actually helped those insurance companies to make more money, more profits at the cost of you and I. I already shared that the average healthcare insurance premium for a family is $25,500. Now, a study in 2020 determined that 90% of hospital bills contain errors. These errors can lead to you being denied an insurance claim. And once you get denied by the insurance company, it's going to be really hard to get them to change their mind. You may be significantly overcharged, which happens all the time. You may have gotten more diagnoses added on, whether they're trying to scam your insurance company or whether they're trying to scam the government, like through Medicare. We already showed how just one of those companies scammed almost $10 billion in just 1 year. That was United Healthcare in 2021, I think it was. They stole almost $10 billion from Medicare by just repeating codes, diagnosis codes, pretending like they had treated people, and sending those bills into Medicare. Hospitals have been flagged. We had one of our watchmen out there sharing how that they work for a hospital and it's under investigation because they have often and repeatedly double charged the government and insurance companies and even patients. They've overcharged VA members. They charge the VA and then they turn around and try to bill the veteran. They've tried to charge the VA and Medicare for the same charges, basically double billing. This is something that is happening out there and is being swept under the rug. You think that that would be a massive nationwide story that a hospital was intentionally double charging? No, it's hush-hush. It's not even local news. The only way that they knew about that was because they work at the stinking hospital. So hospital profits are up. Insurance company profits are up. And we don't even want to talk about how much money lawyers are making. Medical malpractice. Your number one cause of death in the United States is cancer. Number 2 is heart. I'm pretty sure it's that way, or maybe flipped. Whatever. The top 2 are cancer and heart disease, right? The number 3 cause of death in the United States. Now, they don't put this on most charts, but it has been calculated out to be medical errors. Doctors kill more than any disease other than heart disease and cancer. And when you hear that number, you start thinking, why in the world are hospital profits up 400%? If hospitals are killing so many people accidentally, I mean, they're not trying to do it, but it's happening. It happens all the time. And many times when it happens, a lawsuit is generated. What would happen if we didn't have all those lawsuits? And instead of having all those lawsuits, we spent a fraction of that money into putting more people in the operating rooms, more people there to check on the safety, to double check prescriptions, to double check that procedures are done properly, supervisors, if you will. If we spent a fraction of the money that we pay out in medical malpractice suits and in all these lawsuits and all the lawyers making all their money, if we spend a fraction of that to make sure that these tragedies don't happen in the first place. But we can't, because hospitals are maximizing their profits and doctors are focused in on treating more and more patients, and they're being squeezed by the insurance companies. They're being squeezed by their hospitals to be more efficient, and oftentimes that is at the lack of quality and safety for patients. You come over to other places in the world, you go to Thailand, you go to India, you go to some of these medical tourism hospitals, and they're like 4 or 5 star resorts. Like, so nice. You don't feel like you're in a hospital room. And they have recovery hotels next door. And the costs of a lot of these procedures are a tenth or even less for major procedures. And these aren't like random doctors. These aren't doctors that got trained in Moscow or something like that. They're American trained doctors who did their residencies in the United States. They perform all of their surgeries for Westerners, Europeans, and Americans, and they can do so at 1/10 of the cost. A $400,000 procedure in the US can cost $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 over in Thailand or in India. Why is the cost so ridiculously low? Even if you go to some place like Costa Rica, which has become a lot more expensive recently, you're paying 1/3 of the cost for operations and procedures. You need LASIK, if you any kind of a procedure that's elective or that you can kind of hang on and get on a plane and go over. Even I believe the $400,000 is for basically a heart bypass surgery. They do heart bypass surgeries like crazy over there in those places because it's so much cheaper. It's ridiculously cheaper. The American medical system is broken fundamentally when it comes to prices, money, lawsuits, and billing. The care that you get in American hospitals is still among the highest in the world. There's a reason why Canadians come down to America to get quality care. A reason why people in the UK come to the United States for medical care. There's a reason why people in other countries come to the United States to get procedures done if they have the money. It's because the quality is still among the best in the world. But the payment systems is so broken and almost beyond repair. We said this back when Obamacare came out, that the purpose of Obamacare was to break the American healthcare system so badly that the Americans will cry out for a single payer system. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments down below. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.